People are also upset that they feel like too much money is going to migrants and you're cutting too many programs, right? People are feeling like, they never have money for us, but as soon as migrants come in the country, they find money.
And listen, people have a right to be angry. You know who's even more angry than they are? I am. Number one, I don't have the legal authority to stop the buses from coming in. That's against law. I don't have the authority to allow them to work, which they want to do. That's against the law. I don't have the authority to say, I'm not going to house you and give you 3 meals a day. It's against the law for me to do it. I don't have the authority to deport someone that commits a crime here in this city and turn them over to ICE. That's against the law. So some people say, well, Eric, you giving them more than what you're giving us. Go to the HERC centers where they are, the shelters. Their restrooms are outside. Their showers are outside. They're sleeping on cots. They get 3 basic meals a day. And when I go visit them, they say, we don't want any of this from you.
Look at Chicago and New York. Brandon Johnson and Eric Adams need 500,000 lashes apiece. Eric Adams, let me ask you a question, Mayor Adams, Policeman Adams. Let me ask you a question. Why were you so welcoming of the migrants in the beginning? Why was Eric Adams so welcoming of the migrants in the beginning of the purge? Because that's all the migrant crisis is. It is a purge of black people by brown people. That's all this is. It's not a migrant crisis. It is a removal of blacks by browns. That's all this is. Call it what it is. Eric Adams, why were you so supportive of the immigration into New York City, and now all of a sudden you anti-migration? You are a fraud. That's what you are, Eric Adams. And the only reason why you're acting like it's a problem is you're messing with your popularity amongst the blacks who you need to vote for you for re-election. See, Eric Adams knows he may have just fumbled his way out of a re-election in service of black gentrification. So Eric Adams is trying to act like he got a problem with the migrants so he can get his approval rating back up amongst black people because he has lost it. But at least he's trying to salvage his reputation, because Brandon Johnson, I don't know what the hell you doing in Chicago. Every day I wake up and look at the Chicago migrant crisis, I see Brandon Remus, Uncle Remus, Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago, finding another facility in a black neighborhood to give to the migrants. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. I've never seen nothing like it in my life. Every day I pick up the newspaper, Brandon Johnson, we're going to open up the old high school. We're going to open up the old middle school. We're going to open up the old elementary school. We're going to open up the old community center. We're going to open up the old police district. We're going to open up the old firehouse. Brandon Johnson, if you couldn't operate those institutions for black people, Brandon Johnson, if you couldn't operate those institutions for black people, Brandon Johnson, if you couldn't operate those institutions for black people, how did you find money to do it for illegal immigrants? And you know how you know that this is a federal agenda? This ain't local, this federal. Because the governor of New York ain't got no problems with it. The governor of Illinois ain't got no problems with it. The state legislature of New York ain't got no problems with it. The state legislature of Illinois ain't got no problem. Nobody got a problem with the fact that the governors of Texas and the governor of Florida flew and drove migrants halfway across the country to already overpopulated cities. Now, who does that make sense to? Does that make sense to any of you? You got a migrant crisis, but you're not going to take them to states that have a lot of space. You're not going to take them to Utah. You didn't take them to Wyoming. You didn't take them to Maine. You didn't take them to Vermont. You didn't take them to North Dakota. You didn't take them to South Dakota. You crossed over the entire country and brought these migrants to the two largest cities in the country, the two blackest cities, the two most crowded cities, the two most economically distressed cities. You did it because they are there to replace black people. As bad as we have it, as bad as Africans in the diaspora have it, from the Caribbean to South America, I'm sure it's the same in Panama, Europe, Canada, Australia, as Africa, as bad as we have it. If I go on Instagram right now, there's not a serious conversation taking place about what we need to do. We are in a state of crisis and we still won't concentrate on our problems. Not a single conversation about gentrification. Not a single conversation about mass incarceration. Not a single conversation about miseducation. Not a single conversation about police extermination. Not a single conversation about economic apartheid. Not a single conversation on how we're going to build a school, how we're going to build a bank, how we're going to open up a supermarket, a hospital, some jobs, distribution. Go on YouTube. We ain't talking about shit relevant. We ain't talking about shit important. It's old shit, celebrity gossip, who got locked up, 1,000,001 podcasts, and ain't none of them talking about shit that matters right now. Somebody on there talking about aliens and shit. Let me say this about the alien agenda. Let me give you Dr. Ifa Tunde's position on the alien agenda. If they not coming down here to help us fight white supremacy, I don't give a shit about no aliens. Let me say it one more time. If they not coming down here to build no institutions and help us fight white supremacy and stop police brutality, I don't give a damn about reptilians. I don't give a damn about people living under the earth. I don't care about the second dimension, the third dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension. I don't care about a third galaxy, a fifth galaxy, a sixth galaxy. I don't give a damn about how many flying saucers you Negroes done seen in your backyard while you was high on weed. I don't give a damn. Are these aliens coming to help African people? That's my only question. Because if they not coming to help African people, I don't give a damn about no aliens. Don't be asking me about no pseudoscience bullcrap distracting black people from their immediate problems. Everybody got a podcast, but nobody talking about anything important. Everybody got a podcast, and nobody's talking about anything important. Everybody got a podcast, and nobody's talking about anything important.